Hello guys! In this video, I want to present you about research method. And for this presentation, I've divided my presentation into 6 points. First is the meaning of research method, and the second point is the purpose of research, and the third point is the kinds of research based on the usability, and the fourth is the kinds of research I mean the kinds of method research, and the fifth is the kind of research itself, and last is research methodology. So now let's start to the first point. So the first point is the meaning of research method. Do you know research method? Oh, I think you don't know, so I want to tell you. I think you don't know the meaning of research method, so I will tell you. Research method is a step or an activity that done by researcher. The purpose is to gather the information or data, and the information or data will investigated by the researcher. Okay, I think that's a short or a little about the meaning of research method, and I want to go to my next point. And do you still remember what my next point? Yes, it is the purpose of research. And the purpose of research itself has 5 or 6, I forgot. I think around that purpose. And purpose is general, historic, practical, theoretic, evaluation, and expansion. Oh, 6. Okay, so the purpose of research has 6 kinds. So we start to the first list. The first is general purpose of research. The general purpose of research is to get the new knowledge or invention. Second is to prove or to test the fact or the truth from the existing knowledge. And the last is to expand the existing knowledge. Okay, let's to the next purpose. The next purpose is theoretic purpose. So theoretic purpose is where we do research for get something new. Yes, just like that, as simple as that. And let's to the next purpose. The next purpose is practical purpose of the research. So research has practical purpose, and practical purpose is when we do research, we do it for looking for or find out the knowledge, and that knowledge, could be useful in our life directly. And next purpose is exploration. I don't mention exploration before. Sorry. So yes, I forgot to mention the exploration. The exploration purpose is where we do research for finding out the new knowledge that never existed before. And next purpose is verification. I think I don't mention verification too. I don't know, I forgot. But if I don't mention it, I'm sorry. Okay, back to the discussion. Verification purpose. Verification purpose is where we do research for verify or to prove the truth for the exist knowledge. And the last purpose is purpose or expand purpose. So research has expand purpose. It means the purpose of that research is more and to more and more dig or expand from knowledge or the research that exists before. So the knowledge or the research that exists before, we expand from that. So that are the meaning of expand, I don't know, develop purpose. And the next point is, do you still remember? Yeah, that's right. Kinds of research based on the usability, and they are best research or genuine research. So this research has a purpose to expand the theory without pay attention with the usage directly and practically. And second is applied research. So we do applied research for solve the problems. Okay, the second kind is applied research. So when we do applied research, it means we want to solve the problems of practical life. And next is action research. When we do action research, it means the research is for solve the problems, but the way is we do sort of actions, I mean sort of specific actions. And next is policy research. So policy research is for determine a policy based on data or fact in the field or in an area. Example, the result of this research is like allow like that rules in an area, based on that area the rules, like that. And the last is evaluation research. So evaluation research is for give the score now we go to the last kinds of research. It is evaluation research, and evaluation research is the research for give the score or nilai to specific program, activity, and policy. And that's all is for interference society. Udah 3 tuh. Lanjut. Oke. Wait. Tunggu. Kok hilang? Oh iya benar. Okay. So we move to the next point. Do you still remember the next point? Let me remind you. The next point of this presentation is kinds or types of research method. The first is historic method. The historic method is where we do the research, but the method is we make a reconstruction about the past, but the reconstruction must be systematically and objective. Next types is descriptive method. Descriptive method is a method that we make a description systematically, factual, and accurate based on the fact or the population in an area. So we make a descriptive or a sketch about a population or a fact in an area, but the sketch or the descriptive must be systematically and factual. Next, is develop method. Develop method is the method where we do research with investigate the patterns and the order of the growth or the changes as a function of the time. Next method is case research method. Case research method is the method where we studied intensively about the background or the cause from a situation or a case. and we studied the interaction between the environment and the object that we research. And next is correlational method. Correlation method is the method where we studied the relationship between another variation of a factor with another variation of the factor based on correlation coefficient. Next is experiment method. So experiment method is a method that we investigate. Okay, next is experimental method. Experimental method is when we want to do the research with this method, we have to investigate the possibility between cause and effect. Next method is experiment method. Experiment method is a method where when we want to do a research, we have to investigate the possibility between cause and effect with do a control. And the next method is quasi-experimental. Especially it looks like or similar with experimental method, but if experimental method is done by control, but quasi-experimental is not done by control. So it's like they do that without control. The next method is comparative causal. I know it's a little strange in your ear, but I will explain to you, so you will familiar with these types. Okay, so comparative causal is the method where when you want to do research, you must investigate the possibility relation between cause and effect, but we investigate them without experimental way, but we investigate them with so-called in Indonesia language is pengamatan, and we do that pengamatan on the data that we assume that is the cause as a compare. And the last method is action method research. So when you choose this method for your research, you have to expand or develop the new skill or the new approach, and it's applied directly, and the result is studied directly too. We move to the next point. The next point is types of the research itself. So the research itself has two types: qualitative research and quantitative research. So I want to discuss the qualitative first. The qualitative means the research. Qualitative research is the research where we research is the research that we we investigate or we research or we study it on natural object where the researcher as a key instrument. Next is the next is the purpose of qualitative research and research. So the purpose of qualitative research is to explain a phenomenon seriously with the next point is the purpose of qualitative research. So the purpose of qualitative research is to explain a phenomenon seriously. So we explain seriously a phenomenon, and for explain that we collect the data or we get in the data seriously too. And it shows how important and how detailed this research. The next point is the purpose of qualitative research. The purpose of qualitative research is for explain a phenomenon seriously, and we collect the data or getting the data seriously too, and it will show how how important and how detailed this research. Next is characterization of qualitative research. So there are 11 qualitative. Yeah, it's so many. So the first is qualitative research use inductive pattern thing. It means qualitative research is from general to specific or from bottom to top. And the second characteristic is this method is often produce grounded theory. And the third characteristic is in this research the perspective from participant is so important, and and their perspective is a priority. And the fourth character is this research don't use the specific plan. I mean, the plan may change based on the condition and the situation. And the fifth character is this research is for understand and looking for the meaning behind the data to find out the truth. And the truth is called both this sensual empirist truth. Logic character is this research. The purpose of this research is for understand and looking for the meaning behind the data, and it's all for find out the truth. And the 6 characteristic of it is the subject that research no the 6 characteristics of it is the subject for the research, the data, or even the equipment to collect the data could change based on the situation and condition. When we collect the data, we use phenomenologic principle, and the next characteristic is in this research, the researcher is an equipment to collect the data too. And the next characteristic is the analyze. And the next characterization is when we analyze the data, we could do it in the middle of the process of the research. So we don't wait until we finish the research to analyze the data, but we can do it in the middle of the process. And the next research is the result of this research is a descriptive or interpret and the last characteristic is this research is called naturalistic inquiry or nature research. Next point is the procedural of qualitative research, and it has 5 procedural. Okay, the first procedure is we formulate the problems as a focus of research. Next, we gather the data in the field or in the area. After that, we analyze the data that we collected before, and next is we formulate the result, and the last is we arrange the recommendation for make a decision. The last is we arrange the recommendation for decision making. Next is types of qualitative research. So I want you to know that there are 5, I think I forgot about types of qualitative research. They are phenomenology, ethnography, case study, based method theory. No, I wrong. I mean base theory method or genuine theory method, and historic method. Yeah, there are types of qualitative research. And next I want you to tell the step to arrange the qualitative research. So when you want to do a qualitative research, you already know how to arrange it and the procedural. So first, you must blow up the problem. or you must have the problem, or you must have something questioning. And second is raise the rise raise raise next is raise the question next is raise the research question. After that, collect the relevant data. Next, do analyze data. So after we collect the relevant data, we analyze it. Last is we answer the question of the research. So the problem and the question that we questioning before, we have to answer it by ourselves. And okay, I think it's enough for qualitative research. And next is quantitative research. So quantitative research is a research to find out a knowledge that use the data, and the data is some numbers as a analyze equipment. Next is the characteristic of quantitative research. So in here I want to explain the difference from quantitative too. So hear carefully, okay? So I will add the difference from the qualitative research. Okay, so here we are the characteristic of quantitative research. First is this research use deductive pattern of thing. So it means in this research it come from specific and with general. Meanwhile, the qualitative research is come from the general and to the specific one. And the second is in this research we use positivistic logic, and we don't use the something that subjectively. The next character is this research use positivistic logic, and this research doesn't use the things that has subjective character. And next is this research must stick to the plan. When you plan A in the beginning, you must end it with that plan too. Meanwhile, in qualitative research, you can change the plan based it depends on the situation and condition. And next is this research has a purpose, and the purpose is to arrange the nomothetic knowledge. And next characteristic is the subject that used in this research, the data, and even the equipment to collect the data can the next character is the subject for the research, the data, and the equipment to collect the data is must is must not change. It must not change. So it must stick to the plan, the like like I said before. If qualitative, we could change the subject, the data, and the equipment in the middle of the process, but in quantitative we have to stick to the plan from the beginning to the end. And next character is the researcher character. The researcher place their self separated from the research object. It means the research and the object research is separated. No, they don't have ikatan batin or ikatan emotional or something like that. They don't have that in quantitative research. Meanwhile, in qualitative research, the researchers terlibat secara emosional di penelitiannya itu. And next characteristic is we could analyze the data if we finish the research. So we couldn't analyze data in the middle of the process. We must wait until finish the process. And the next character is the researcher. When we analyze the data in this research, the researcher must understand the techniques of statistics. And next is the next characters is the result is generalization and prediction. And the last characteristic is this quantitative research is called scientific research. Next is procedural quantitative research. When you prefer analyze the number, something like that, count the number, or something like that, you are suitable to do this research, and you must know the procedural for this research. And first is we identify the problem. Next, we literature study. Next, after that, we expand the concept or kerangka concept. So we expand the kerangka concept. After that, we identify the definition from hypothesis variable and the question of the research. Next is we expand the design of the research. After that, we do sampling technique, or we do sampling. Then we collect the data. After that, we analyze the data, and the last is we interpret and communicate the result. Like the qualitative research, the quantitative research has some types too, and they are descriptive research, correlational research, causal comparative research, action research, expand research and experiment research. And the last point for this point is we arrange the kerangka berpikir dalam menyusun hipotesa. And next we formulate the hypothesis, and after that we do a test, or we verify the hypothesis, and finally we make a conclusion from that hypothesis. Is our hypothesis could be accepted or could be rigor. Okay, and the last point, and finally we are in the last point. Yay! Clap your hand. And I don't want speak many things in this last point, because I know you've already both heard me presentation about this material, and the last point is research methodology, and in here I just want to explain the meaning. So research methodology is so research methodology is how we as a research or part of researcher team. So research methodology is a way or a step or an activity where we make a descriptive, or we make a picture, or something like that. I mean gambaran. So research methodology is a way or a step or an activity where we as a researcher or a part of researcher team make a picture or a descriptive, or I mean like gambaran, and that gambaran must be comprehensively, we must explain it comprehensively, and it contains how the steps, or what steps that we could do to answer the question of the research. Okay, I think it's enough. Sorry for my mistakes. I know I make many mistakes. I just human after all, and and I'm sorry to I mix the language bahasa in I mean Indonesian and English, because in the middle of this presentation I forgot the English. I'm a human after all. Okay, because I know you already bored, so goodbye.